All right, today we're going to be taking a look at some premium NATO straps from a new company that I think just launched in 2019 out of Singapore, Luff Watchstraps, and this is their LuxNato. It's a premium NATO with a really cool keeper system that allows you to tuck the strap under the watch, just so on the bottom of the wrist instead of the side of your wrist. And they're coming at you with a really incredible price. I think they're giving a great value. You can get them for about 20 bucks on their website. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look and see what they're offering. Okay, so again, these are premium NATOs. They're definitely, I would classify them as like in the seatbelt NATO category, but they're using a much thinner seatbelt material than your typical seatbelt NATOs. And their biggest selling point that they advertise on their website is this floating keeper system that allows you to tuck the strap underneath your wrist. And for me, that's one of the biggest benefits here. Like one of my biggest pet peeves about NATO straps is that they typically, so I'm wearing right now my Timex Weekender, and this is on just a standard seatbelt NATO. What you see, you get the extra flap on the side, the extra flap from the strap on the side of your wrist, and usually you'll tuck it on the side of your wrist, and it'll have a little bit of a extra bulk on the side of your wrist. And I don't really like that. It's one of my kind of things I don't like about a NATO strap. But this one, what they've done is they've made that keeper that normally is fixed like around here on the watch. They made it so that you can slide it up and down. And that allows you then to choose where you want the strap to be on the side of your wrist. So it's a really great idea, and they've engineered it really well. It works perfectly. So basically you just put the strap on and feed it through both keepers. And then when you feed it through both keepers, you can slide that second keeper wherever you want it. So if you want it like a standard NATO, you can keep it high and it'll be on the side, or you can pull it down close to your other one and then tuck the strap into it underneath, and then that will put that will wind up putting the strap onto the bottom of your wrist. So great feature there. The hardware that they use, so they give you a couple of options. You can get it in either brushed or polished, and either one that you get, the hardware is very heavy duty, very high quality, feels very secure and sturdy. The pin is great. I haven't had any problems with it. And yeah, really, really nice hardware. You're getting a signed clasp, and then you're also getting their logo kind of etched and engraved on the stationary keeper that will stay towards the top of the watch strap. And it's this kind of pirate skull and crossbones. They have a pirate theme going on with a lot of their stuff. So the black NATO strap they call the Blackbeard, and yeah, some other ones have sort of a piratey influence. Talking a little bit about the fabric on it, it's definitely a seatbelt style fabric. It's very smooth, very soft to the touch, very comfortable. It feels very durable. Not a lot of fraying or anything like that going on. Everything seems very well sealed. And then on this black one, so they have a different kind of weave on the edges, which is very subtle to see, but it kind of gives it a really nice look, a little bit of a cool subtle detail. And it's got a little bit of a sheen to it. It shimmers nicely in the light. So overall, I feel like it looks a lot better than just a typical nylon NATO strap. And it's also very thin. And particularly that's helpful on watches that have narrow lugs like the Citizen Nighthawk here. So this is a watch that, oftentimes I have a really hard time sliding a NATO strap into it. Getting a seatbelt NATO or a leather NATO is almost impossible to get through the lugs. But this one I didn't really have any problems with. It slid in very easily. And yeah, so great feature there, and really, really nice for this one. Let's go ahead and look at the other one that they sent. I also have a vintage Bond NATO, and this is one that has the polished hardware on it. So they sent me one with the polished hardware and one with the brushed. And these are available in either 20 or 22 millimeters, so two of the most standard popular sizes for straps. The Bond NATO is really well done. It's a lot more intricate. The fabric that they use has this cool pattern on it. So obviously the Bond, vintage Bond in particular, you're getting black, red, and green colors on it, and they're all done a little bit differently. So the black is pretty much the same as the black NATO on the edges, but then the red lines that you get in there, they're actually this kind of rope-like pattern that rises slightly above the rest of it, so it gives a little bit of a 3D texture to it, so it stands out. It's a really nice, eye-catching look. And then the green has a really beautiful shimmer to it. So when it catches the light, it kind of reflects the light more than the other colors. And it just looks pretty amazing. It's one of the most beautiful NATO straps that I've seen. And again, it's really soft and really comfortable at the same time. So I really think they did a great job with the fabric choices that they made here. It's extremely, again, very soft, very comfortable, and because it's also very thin at the same time, it doesn't add as much bulk to the watch as a normal NATO would. And that, for something like, on the Bulova Moonwatch, that's something that is a really great feature, because the Moonwatch here, the Lunar Pilot, is kind of a tall watch anyways, but because the weave is so, because the nylon that they chose to use here is on the thinner side, it doesn't really add as much bulk as a typical NATO would, especially a seatbelt NATO would normally add a lot of height to a watch like this. And yet, I don't know if you can see it there, and yet on this it doesn't at all. The other thing that I really like about it is that because it's so soft, it really doesn't need a lot of break-in time. So a lot of times when I put on a NATO strap at first, especially a seatbelt NATO, it takes some break-in time, so there's a lot of extra, the bulk on the sides where the NATO strap will kind of come out and up a little bit because it doesn't quite bend around the lugs that easily. But this is so soft and thin that it almost instantly conforms perfectly around the lugs, and it looks great, like right out of the box. Again, extremely comfortable, probably the most comfortable NATO strap that I've worn. And yeah, so it's a really amazing fabric. Like it seems like they've got the perfect fabric for this, and something that is thin, it's light, and durable at the same time. But so the durability would be the only question I would have on it. I've only been able to wear these for a couple days. They look really durable, but because they're so thin and because they bend so easily, I wonder if they will tend to warp faster than a normal NATO would, because they're softer and not as stiff. And I don't know if they will last as long, but that's something that I'll just have to wear them for a while and see. I've been wearing them for a few days and obviously haven't had any problems yet, but yeah, so that would be the only concern I would have. But I think that it's more a feature than a bug. I think they intended to pick a really thin, durable, lightweight fabric like this, and it seems like it's going to last a while. So if it does, then it's basically like the perfect NATO strap, I think. I mean, in my mind, I can't think of what else I would personally add to this. I think they nailed everything. The engineering is great on it, and yeah, being able to tuck the keeper down underneath your wrist. Overall, really impressive. Again, they're not the only ones doing these kinds of things. You can find similar straps from other brands, but I haven't seen anything at this $20 price range. I mean, $20 seems like a great deal for what they're giving you on this. So really impressed that they're offering it at that price. And they seem to put a lot of care into their product as well. They package it pretty nicely. It comes in a little tin, so kind of a fun, it seems like they're really trying to do a lot of customer service and give you a little bit of extra. So that's, to me, that doesn't really factor into whether it's a good product or not, but it seems like they're, as a new company, they're really trying to make their customers happy, and I appreciate that as well. But definitely encourage you guys to check them out. You can buy these straps directly from their website, Luff Watchstraps. I'll put a link down in the description. And again, I think for 20 bucks, it's hard to go wrong with what they're offering you here, and especially with the options. Yeah, you can pick from 4 different colors, and you can get different finishing options, either in the polished or the brushed. I like the simple black one is great to have a classic black one, and then for having something a little bit more colorful, I really like this vintage bond. Yeah, but you can see on their website the other colors that they have and see if there's anything that interests you. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have found other NATOs maybe in this price range, or other ones that you guys like or would recommend, definitely put that down in the comments below and let me know what other options might be out there. Again, I don't typically go into the premium NATO category. I usually stick with cheaper NATO straps. But at $20, this is basically in a similar price range as the lower priced ones. It's not that much more expensive, so I think it's a great overall deal. But with that, let's go ahead and wrap it up, and we'll close up the review.